look at the horde of Russians coming towards us here today in NTW3, and we have a glorious NTW3 battle for you today. Obviously, it's a historical one. Again, as you might be able to tell from the title, we are doing the Battle of Mesoten, which is a battle in the 1812 campaign. And it is a funny one because it's not the French and the Russians dueling against each other. It is the French allied Prussians fighting alongside their French allies, or French overlords. I guess they're not really willing allies. But yeah, the Russians are fighting against the Prussians here today. So yeah, we're going to probably getting a lot of tongue twister, mixing up of Prussians and Russians. It is inevitable with this this sort of scenario. But yes, the Battle of Mesoten sort of fought just I think it's sort of west of Riga, or like southwest of Riga. The commander MacDonald, or it's really York, but it's under MacDonald's corps in the north, is got the job of sieging down the city of Riga. Sort of, I guess, maybe to take it as a pretty important port city, I guess, for the Russian Empire, but also just another sort of, like, you know, for another supply dump that the French can sort of call upon and maybe use the port to, I guess, to sort of supply their Grand Armee moving through the center of Russia. But yes, it's a historically, it's a Prussian victory, or a Franco-Prussian victory. There is only Prussians in this battle. There isn't actually any sort of French units available in this MacDonald Corps. We have 4 MacDonald Corps here. They're all 5-pointers in the 1812 sort of like corps, or like army that you can get. And yeah, it's a pretty much unknown corps. I would say I've never seen it being used ever before in NTW3. And going up against them here today, we do have Steinheil, who is the Russian commander, and he's also a 5-pointer. So yeah, it's going to be a very like low point sort of game. It's yeah, very much like a chess match. It's kind of like how the replay is described, and it very much is the case. Very much a chess match. I'm very much looking forward to this one. I was playing in it. I was playing as one of the Prussian corps. I think I was playing as this one over here. I think this is my combat general, Ludwig von York, who is actually the commander historically at this battle. But he's a combat general in this one. I don't know why they don't just make him the actual corps commander, because I think it was York really. MacDonald, I think, wasn't really present. Didn't seem like he was really present actually in the 1812 campaign. I might be wrong, but that just seems to be the case. But anyway, yes, the Russians had about 22,000 troops at this battle, and they certainly have a horde with them here today. I mean, there's endless, like Russians here. I mean, Steinheil seems like he can bring quite a lot for 5-pointer. At least, I mean, you can see the size of these armies over here. They're looking pretty big. And we've got some Cossacks as well, a bit of lag there. We've got a lot of Cossacks in the squad. I don't think they can really bring much other than Cossacks. I might be wrong. Like I said, this corps is unknown to me. While the Prussians have around about 16,000 troops at this battle. So they were outnumbered, but not outclassed. And they've got some pretty nasty units with them. Some of these Hussars and Dragoons are really pretty decent. And they do have some like lifeguard Hussars available to them as well. So some good units available. We'll see what if there isn't actually any trained cavalry for the Russians. Oh, this one definitely looks. Oh, they can bring some Dragoons. Okay, they got some a pretty big Dragoon unit there, 75 man unit, 66. Yes, they can bring some. You can see it from the Dragoon Finlandia. This unit here. That Steinheil's army was actually known as the Army of Finland. So after they finished their war fighting against the Swedes, the Russians, they actually then brought Steinheil's army across to help in the sort of like the northern campaign of the Russian campaign. And yeah, so it got shifted across from Finland and then moved into the Baltics to help there. So that's why Steinheil arrives and actually features in the Russian campaign. And already you can see it looks like some Schutzen here getting routed very early on. Looks like that was some Russian artillery there getting rid of that. It's good to see that. But yeah, let me know who you're rooting for. You're rooting for Russia, you're rooting for Prussia. I mean, obviously, old allies, but now enemies fighting against each other. So yeah, it's certainly going to be. I imagine it must be like pretty hard for both the commanders here. Like, we've got to fight these guys. They're really like our allies. They don't want to fight us, but they've been forced to by Napoleon. It must be hard. But yeah, let me know who you're rooting for in the comments. And if you're enjoying NTW3 and want to see more historical battles, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're around here, and a comment to show support, guys. It really does help out the channel. And if you want to send in any of your own NTW3 battles, if you've got some really good ones and think, you know what, Pope should check those out, then do feel free to send them into my Discord. The link is down below in the description, as always. And yeah, it just seems like lots of reserve infantry and lots of, I don't know if they're like necessarily like as bad as like the provisional units for like the French. But yeah, I'd imagine these reserve division units, they're probably going to be pretty poor when it comes to morale. I know that the there are Poles in this build. There actually are some here. There are some Poles in the Prussian army available. But yeah, they're actually some of the better troops, I think. But the Prussians have pretty low morale as well, about like 5 and 6. A few of them have a little more, but yeah, really low morale. Yeah, like I said, the Poles are actually some of the better units when it comes to melee, that's for sure, which obviously is what the Russians are going to want. They're going to want a bit of a melee fight. The Prussians definitely want to stay in a line fight. As you've seen this one, the Prussians have a lot more joy in a line fight than the Russians do. You can see already the Russians are coming forward. They're trying to get really close with their Jaeger and their infantry. And the Poles here have just got to stand firm and face off against their old rival. I mean, the Poles and the Russians have a pretty strong rivalry, and like they've got bad blood. I mean, not long ago, the Russians, along with the Austrians and the Prussians, did annex their country. You know, and pretty much just made Poland non-existent. I mean, in the future as well, we're gonna have some pretty bad scraps together as well. Yeah, artillery already getting off over here. Got a 6-pounder here. With silent guns, but you know, you can believe that they're there. They are firing away. And yeah, more Poles as well for the Prussians here. So you can see they're not a lot of actual Prussians, and so we've got a lot of Westphalians here as well. It's a very strange corps, this MacDonald one. It's a very mishmash of nations put together. Yeah, it's mainly made up of Prussians and Poles. Some Bavarians as well. Look at that. Like I said, quite literally a core of nations here. Yeah, Russia losing slightly in this line fight. Well, this one's winning slightly. Yeah, losing slightly. It looks a little 50-50 at the moment. Artillery coming up here, though, for the Russians is definitely going to be helping them blast through these Poles here. And they're going to have to try and, you know, combat that somehow. Maybe give the shot. I mean, look at that. That's down to orange already, that orange line in there. Pretty nasty with the artillery hitting. But yeah, I mean, looks like the Prussians are trying to return the favour. They've got a artillery piece here, a Bavarian single gun. Looks like he's trying to maybe blast through the gap in the line here. Looks like he's trying to hit some of these the Riga unit as well. So, you know, these men have just recently relieved the siege of Riga, and this is the battle that comes after that. So yeah, the Battle of Mesoten. Why are we getting so much lag now? I do not know. There we go. We are back. But yeah, so we should see whether these boys, if the Russians can win and change history, then I guess Riga is safe. But if they fail to lose, then the Prussians are just going to re-siege Riga like they did in history. And there you go. First unit routing is a Polish unit that's been blasted to pieces by the artillery there. That is not too shabby at all. And here comes more Prussians. These look like light infantry here. But yeah, so both sides have one general, I believe. I think we have MacDonald here. This is like the overall general for the side, and then over on this other side here we have Fabian Steinhill. It doesn't sound like a very Russian name at all. I imagine he's probably German. But yeah, so he is the overall general. And then everyone else is combat gens, and it's pretty much just a battle to the death. There isn't really any sort of like objectives to take. I mean, everyone's if it does come to an LOC, everyone is sort of migrating around that 3-pointer. There is the middle ground. Both sides otherwise have a 4-pointer each. So the 3-pointer is going to be the one that makes a difference. And the Prussians are entrenched in it first, but the Russians are slowly coming forward and in quite great numbers. I think the building was bugged out, so they couldn't actually get inside it. But yeah, it is technically in Prussian hands, you can say, these guys behind here. So, well, Polish hands, I should say, really. But yeah, the Poles here are very much garrisoning it. We'll see what goes on. But yeah, it looks like at the moment we've got lots of stakes that we put in front of the guns, protecting those guys. Not a bad idea. Means that any of those hussars that the Prussians decide to bring forward, they're going to get blasted by artillery, all staked up And I mean, the units are quite small when it comes to cavalry. It's not really big units. The Russians are by far and away the larger units here, the 75-man units, and 66 of the dragoons. I don't think any of our cav on the Prussian side was near that size. I think we could bring some, but they were really expensive, really, really expensive. And there you go, a little dash going in, and look at that, already a Cossack taken out. And that was my artillery piece getting taken out here. And yeah, I think actually the rear charge might have screwed me over there. That cavalry there coming in. I think that might have been what got it, not actually the Cossacks. But that is unfortunate. It's a gun gone, and yeah, it kind of leaves me in a bit of a predicament. I'm now gunless. I mean, they were so expensive to bring with this core. I'm glad that I didn't spend more than like 96 coins on it, because yeah, it never got used. What a waste. What a waste. Schutzen, no, they're already up. They're already, you know, trying to protect the gun. I had these guys literally either side, and the Cossacks come through a small gap in the middle, which I was leaving for the gun, and they managed to get it. Just typical really. We're actually keeping quite a bit of reserve here, of reserve infantry as well, nonetheless. Let's see what these guys can do. I honestly think their plan is just to spam out infantry. It's just there's a lot of it. Good force there in that tree line. It looks like they're forming up some columns here, some battle columns. Maybe we give it a go to go straight through into the town. They've got a lot more in these woods over here, and just yeah, in the front lines. They've just got so much. It's going to just require a line fight, some patience from the Prussians. Patient Prussians is what it's going to be. Well, Russia, I mean, they have the free will that they can probably go for a charge if they want to. The Schutzen here. Reloading their muskets. Picking out officers, sergeants. Poles here, they're ready. They're ready to take these boys on. Kill any of those Russians who get too close to their bayonets. Here we go. Looks like we're going to see a dragoon unit come forward here. An expensive unit. I mean, 5 points. The reason why, like 5 points, obviously kind of poor, is because everything's so expensive. So if you lose something, it's a big loss, especially for the Prussians. I'd say the Russians seem like they just bought a lot of infantry. And here we go. I think we are going to see a charge again. He's either getting really close for a side shot, or they're getting ready for a charge. And it looks like we are going to see a charge here. In they go, but in they're squirreling. Like I said though, the Poles don't mind the melee fight. They're honestly probably one of the better units to go into melee against. And the Russians, you can see advancing on the other side here. And yeah, they're trying to close that gap while the Poles are getting distracted here by the Jaeger. Artillery's just getting point blank range. Fire, men, fire, hit them. Not bad to hit those Jaeger there that might rout them, you never know. And also, it looks like Prussia is going to countercharge here with some of his own Poles. Doing a good job. They've routed some reserve infantry here. And looks like Schutzen going in amongst the Russian infantry. They managed to rout these guys. I'll be impressed. Here go the dragoons. Another volley there from the artillery piece. Routs the Jaeger, and that's actually causing the reserve infantry here to rout as well. And the cavalry there, it needs to be careful crossing to its own unit as it's going into melee. Bit cheeky. But yeah, there you go, the dragoons might be being stopped in their tracks. You see they are getting in amongst the Poles here. They don't seem like they can form square. The dragoons, I think, have been routed themselves. I think it doesn't help with the mass of other Russian infantry that is being routed. You can see the Poles here scaring off these Russians. Very, very nice. Very nice little win there for the Prussians against the Russians. I'd say first blood to the Prussians. Very, very good. Or the Poles, should I say. They did most of the work, the heavy lifting here. Keep it up, lads. Keep it up. Yeah, quite a large Prussian battery being set up here, just to, you know, counteract against that 6-pounder battery as well. And looks like now the Prussians are moving forward here as well, getting ready to maybe try and duel the Russians in that tree line. The trees will give the Russians a bit of an advantage maybe in that line fight. They're not that great in a line fight as it is. They might need that. We've got cavalry back here just waiting patiently. Prussian musketeers. They're getting ready to do their bit. For fatherland against the motherland. The dragoons look like they were going to give it a go for something. I mean, usually, hide behind cav, that's usually a sign. Oh, it looks like the dragoons went again. And failed once again. Another failure with an expensive dragoon unit. We've got the Finlandia one back there. But yeah, that is insane. I mean, the mid-tab might still return 47 out of something. That's more than likely it will return again. Yeah, the Prussians, they've got a long line here ready to go. I mean, we can't see obviously all their army, but they have the same depth as the Russians, that's for sure. Whether the Prussians could have taken advantage of all these routing troops behind, like affecting the Russian line, you can see a lot of. There's been a bit of orange lining going on. I think that's mainly because of routing troops and stuff like that. I mean, there's also this gun, the orange lining now. Whether we can route that, we'll have to see. With the Russians, yeah, they're pulling back. I think the Bavarian gun is also starting to do a little bit of damage that they're not a big fan of. Yeah, the Russians here, the better positions at the moment. Fire when ready! Silent gun, you love to see it. The silence gun, it's a new piece of technology. You never see where the cannonballs flying from. It's forcing these Prussians back on that left side there for them. Certainly seems like the Prussians more massing on the right at the moment and around the town. I mean, the town is kind of like, I guess, their left flank, really. It's or left of center. Yeah, the Prussians seem like they're certainly not got so much forces on that left side there. Maybe shifting more towards supporting, holding the three-pointer. Yeah, so much reserve infantry here. None of it can form square. Or at least none of that can. There is a Jägerriga over here. Actually, a couple of Jägerriga over here that can form square. Looks like there's a cav fight. I think this is when I charged my lifeguards in to try and take out this unit. I think I might have lost them. Wasn't really a big thing. Didn't really like change the battle, but yeah, it was a risky move there. And actually, it seems like the Prussians have tried something similar on here. The Hussar looks like he tried to go through the stakes. Nearly did get that gun down to 9 crew members. We'll see what they can do. I mean, if the shuttle moves up, tries to really focus these guys down, they might have a chance of routing them. You never know. I think Prussia really wants to try and route that gun, and then they'll think about pushing on again. But if they push on too far, the Prussians, they do need to be careful. The Russian right flank is very much looming, and they can swing in behind, which I think also, yeah, the Prussians will look at maybe forcing the Russians back here. But there is the dangerous dragoon waiting. Here comes Russia again. He's forming up the line infantry. The reservists, the men that didn't really fancy joining the army, they're being called up. First to serve in Siberia, now to serve in the Baltics. Yeah, both sides, I mean, it's just a waiting match. I mean, both sides, like I said, it really is feeling like a chess game. A lot of standing off right now, shooting at probably maximum range for quite a few of these units. Certainly the musketeers, the generic line infantry. These guys are shooting at probably the longest range they can do. Longest effective range anyway. I'm just hoping that something's going to maybe break in a line fight. It does seem like Russia is losing, or at least it seems like it's combat even at best in most of these, but he's winning a couple of them, but yeah, losing also in quite a few areas here. A lot of the Jaeger seems like it's losing as well. Of all the things to be losing. Again here, look at this again. Outgun these men of Riga. And here we go. It looks like we're going to see some Polish columns moving forward. It looks like maybe Prussia is going to go on the offensive. Here we go. Goes into a trot, into a run. There we go. The attack order's given. And the Poles go in. Can they rout the Russians? The rest of these Poles going in, they're going to need to send in more troops if they want to try and break this line. And there you go. I mean, there's kind of a lot of redlining going on for these Poles. They need to be careful. They are routing a couple of these Russian units. The Cav's going in and needs to be careful as a rear charge his own troops. More Russians routing. These reservists aren't fancying it. And that first line is kind of gone. They need to get more troops in there if they're going to give this a real go. Streltsy here, they are starting to flank on in. And you can see more Russians, more reservists coming in. Russia is in danger of blobbing a little bit, but it's hard to tell how many units are in there. I think it's okay, like ratio-wise. Usually it's like 2 to 1 on an attack. Like you can have 2 attackers or 2 units against 1, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Cavalry in here, the Hussars again routing more stuff. They need to keep throwing stuff forward to go to the Prussians. They haven't got enough yet, and I mean they can send forward some more of these troops here if they really wanted to try and break the Russians down. Russians trying to hold strong, shoot them in the back, boys. These Prussians here, they could literally shoot these guys right in the back or in the side and deal a lot of damage. Yeah, they look like they are going to lose, but they are going to. It's the intensity, the quickness has not really worked in their favour to Prussia. They've been bogged down in that tree line. And looks like another attempt. I think there's a dash of guns here. Looks like the guns are still fine. They've got 12 crew members left. It's looking okay. And there you go. Yeah, the Prussians are getting forced back. They're not really sending more forward. Or they are now, but it's maybe a little late. And it looks like the Poles are going to get defeated. I think they're already gone. The Poles might already be gone. It's actually Prussians. Careful they don't shoot their own men. I feel I was a little concerned that maybe the Prussians might be doing that. They have closed the gap a little bit, the Prussians, to duel with these Russians, which is possibly in their favour. You know, they have better accuracy. It looks like better reloading still in a few departments. But whether it is going to make the difference, we'll see. Another fight going on over here on the left flank. Again, it's the Poles against the Russians. They just hate each other that much. Battling on bayonets, twirling there, both redlining. I mean, a little charge from a cav unit here from Prussia could really make the difference. Could get a little side charge. Might rout both of them, but it might be enough. And actually, we're going to see, it looks like a little Schutzen go into the side there. And that's made the difference. And they've managed to rout the Russians there. Incredible stuff from the Schutzen. And it looks like actually some cav was getting thrown forward there. The Draguni of Finland being sent forward. But they are redlining. Looks like they're taking some losses. Maybe some shots from other Prussian units potentially. Didn't see any cav in the actual combat with the Poles, and I feel like that would have helped rout the Poles much quicker. A Russian offensive now onto the guns here of the Prussians. They need to be careful. These guns are in a good position to just canister the Russians. They are loading up the guns. Hurry, boys! Hurry! The Russians are coming. The Russians are on their way, and it actually looks like it's not going to be infantry. It looks like there's Cossacks been running. There you go. Canister shot fired, but it's at the wrong unit. It's at the infantry, and now the Cossacks are going to descend it on the guns. And there you go. I think those guns might be gone, and they're tossing the Poles aside as well. And yeah, the Poles going to melee, but I think they're just going to get themselves routed along with the guns. Will the Schutzen fire off? I don't know. The guns actually, the Cossacks actually could go on. There's another gun here they could go. Oh yeah, they're going to go for this one. So we are back at where we left off, and as you can see, the Cossacks here are going to take out another gun. It looks like they're getting a, I don't know, a Westphalian gun or maybe something like that. It looks like they're taking that out. They've got 2 guns. They could get a third here. There is also a Bavarian gun, which has also been abandoned already by the crew. They're actually going to combat the Cossacks here, and they're getting themselves a little bit spiked up by those lances. And there you go, a third gun of the Prussians has gone. That is devastating stuff there, and now it could get worse. MacDonald is very much on the front lines here. Well, he's on the front lines because the Cossacks are in the back lines, you could say. But yes, he's kind of having to run through his infantry to avoid the Cossacks. But now the infantry, I guess, can have a free shot at MacDonald as well, if they're not careful. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any cav over here at all for the Prussians to win those guns. That was kind of poor. All the cav is actually out on this right flank here. As you can see, there's one cav in here. Kind of keep an eye on the flank there. And yeah, it looks like the rest of the cav, there is actually cav shifting back in this direction here now. It looks like it actually took a bit of a hit as well. Looks like a lifeguard. Hussite still from the plume. So they're coming forward. They're not going to be able to catch the Cossacks though. These guys are like so quick. It's better just to try and gun them down. If you're going to try and use them, gun them down. There you go. The Prussians lost a lot of their guns, and now I think this might be their last gun here. Actually, this Bavarian artillery piece. Get it working. It's going to have to work overtime here if it wants to turn this. Well, it's not really turned this fight around for the Prussians. They've not had a bad game so far. They've been certainly setting the tempo of this fight. The Russians have kind of been absorbing sort of the last couple of assaults, and I mean they made one assault early themselves, just got thrown back. So they're just kind of counting a bit back and forth a little bit. Still got plenty of Poles here though for the Prussians that the Russians are going to have to try and get through. They're going to be a tough force, and it looks like on the right flank now we're starting to see a bit of a fight take place here. Looks like the Cossacks try to maybe go forward for a charge. Looks like that's not working in their favour, as you can see. Infantry here looks like it's going to get forced back. It's just a nice little duo here of light infantry for the Russians, and then some Cossacks as well. Not working in favour at all here for the Prussians, who are being forced back. I mean, these guys can form squares, so any sort of charge by the cav here is going to get repulsed by the light infantry. And I don't think in melee those Prussian infantry units are going to do too great either. So that could be a bit of a problem, that's for sure. As you can see, looks like the Prussians are giving more ground here. They've been taking a lot of losses in this front line here, in this line fight, and yeah, they're having to give some ground. I mean, so are the Russians though. There's a fair few dead Russians over here as well, but yeah, certainly more. It looks like certainly more Prussians in this line fight. And it looks like it's gonna, if anyone's gonna have to make a move now, it's gonna have to be Russia. Prussia is giving a lot of ground. You can see the bodies starting to reveal themselves. Well, I say that. They're stepping forward again. Poles aren't giving in, that's for sure. Just trying to clear these Strelki out they are. Best way to clear out Strelki is just to try and use don't like just sit back and just like ignore them, just shoot them with line infantry. Move forward your own line infantry and just start blasting them. They'll move back quickly enough. Looks like over here Prussia again, or the Poles really, they're doing some problems here for the Russians. The more you get, the Riga not really able to do too much. They are redlining. I mean, if I was Russia, I'd probably like stack up more troops here and try and again go through the village. I think that's the way to go. Can't see all the Prussians, I guess, but it's probably the move to try and make. They've got a lot of reserves over here. I'd maybe shift them that in direction. I'd try another column assault through there. There is a cav waiting, some goons, but I don't know if they're going to be that great in the town. And we've got Prussians also now moving on the left flank here. Russia's going to move back forward on his right to meet these guys in the forest. It looks like that's where they're going to decide who's going to hold this right flank. Look at these Prussians. These Russians going forward. March into the sound of the drums in the name of the Tsar. Send these traitorous Prussians packing. How dare they side with the Emperor Napoleon? The trees actually concede variants, so other traitors. And actually looks like, here we go, Cav going through. They need to be careful, they did just kind of charge through their own troops there. And yeah, I don't know what they go for. I think they, I don't know what they did, but yeah, the Prussian tried to go for a charge, failed, that's for sure. And here, yeah, the Prussians now trying to flank and shoot. It also looks like the Cossacks trying to come forward and maybe try and do something here, which is possible. Yeah, Cossacks committed, and then the Prussian Dragoons reacted. They've lost some shots, and I think they've seen some volley fire here. We actually have another Prussian gun. It's like a 12-pounder or something like that, so it's certainly a big-looking gun. Anyway, that is actually still alive and kicking. That on the left flank here for the Prussians might be able to make something happen, you know. Might be able to dominate this flank. There's no artillery here, it seems, for the Russians. At least it doesn't seem like. They've got plenty of cav, though. They could obviously get in behind and cause problems for that artillery piece. But yeah, the Prussians trying to hold the edge of this forest. But the Russians very much in it. I think they are winning this line fight. Keep blasting away, boys. Keep blasting away. There you go. Routing some more of the Prussian troops there. They had a little. I mean, it actually seems like the Prussians have overwhelming numbers here, but they're a lot more strung out. The Russians are bringing forward cav as well. I mean, if the Russians want to, I think they could probably go for a melee charge. They're probably close enough. They could give this a real go, I feel. And it actually seems like it's going to be Prussia that's going to be the one to try and get into melee. He's sending in the Dragoons. I mean, through a forest probably isn't the wisest idea. Movement is certainly hampered by that, and you can't really see them, but they are routing. There you go, those Prussians are routed. It actually looks like they're going to take an infantry with them. And the fight continues, this line fight. And Russia just being patient, you know, waiting until he's gunned down a few more of the Prussians, and then he looks like I think he'll go for a charge. I mean, the Cavs all stacked up like he's ready to go. The Cossacks, yeah, they're close. Tiny little Cossack unit. I think it sees the guns. It does. It's this 80-man unit here, and it's going to go for the guns. And I think this is going to be a very dead Prussian artillery piece at the moment. And yeah, I mean, failed to react there again. Prussian cav. Yeah, failed to react. There's a little shots in here that could have done something about it as well, and didn't. And there you go. That's another dead Prussian gun column. Just to keep in mind, there is a Russian Cossack way in the back over there as well. Got to keep an eye on that, just in case they, you know, decide to make themselves known. The other gun actually over here, the Bavarian one, was just orange lighting for a moment, so it looks like very soon that continues that theme, that Prussia could be without artillery, and they're in full flight on this left flank here, and I would not be surprised if we see an all-out attack now from Russia here to try and catch these guys up while they're on the run. I get the Cossacks and the Dragoons into play, get them going. I think actually, well, the Cossacks returned with 14 men left. It might still be useful, we'll see. We will see. But yeah, the Prussians actually look like they're going to be able to extract themselves from that fight quite easily. They're going to return to the town. It looks like the Prussians on this side as well are giving up this fight that they've been fighting for so long on the sort of like plateau here, and they're now retreating towards the town. I think, if anything, that's got to be the call now for the rest of the Prussians to start to give way. Bit of a line fight going on here. I don't know if these are, I don't think these are guardsmen. They got some funny little bobbleheads going on, that's for sure. They like got the lampshades. Looking very silly at the Prussians. They're dueling with the Jaeger in there, and the Jaeger's winning because they got better reloading stats, that's for sure, and accuracy, and they're also in a forest, which is helping greatly. Cossacks here still sniffing about. There's a big Cossack unit. The other unit is still waiting in behind there. You can see, I think they want to take out that other Dragoon, and then when they're ready, they can just pick apart the Prussian infantry there. And yeah, the Russian infantry, which has for so long just been stood here doing nothing, is now coming into action. We might actually finally get to see some action, some actual line fights on this side. We've not seen a lot go on this right flank. It's all been in the center, and a little bit more recently on the left here. as the Prussians tried to do something. But you can see, looks like they're trying to form up almost in a bit of a V to see where they can bait the Russians in on no more than like a couple of fronts. They can hit them from front and side. We'll see whether that can happen. And here we go. Looks like cavalry going in over here. Looks like they're taking out Schutzen maybe. The Cossacks there. And we'll see where the cavalry goes in. I don't know what the Prussians here are going for, but they're going for something. And yeah, in go the Hussars. Well, sorry, not the Hussars, the Dragoons, and they're dealing with Cossacks. Get in mind, Hussars, my Dragoons all mixed up. But there you go, routed one unit. Can they get another one? They can get a second one. Can they get a third Cossack? I don't know, we'll see. I don't know, and there you go, yeah, the Prussians are going to get routed, and that is a real problem that these Cossacks here are still alive and present. That is not going to be too great at all. And yeah, really, these guys need to get out of square now, because otherwise the Russians are going to start blasting it, and there you go, it's out of square. They need to start thinking about falling back if they can. There's another cav unit here waiting. Lifeguard unit here, that needs to start moving. Needs to start covering that flank a little bit. Russians also have hit another little Cossack. They are really sneaking these Cossacks around. They're trying to be as mischievous with them as possible, that is for sure. Yeah, the Russians now moving forward. They sense blood on this right flank here. They can sense it. I don't know if they're winning the line fight, really. Winning slightly. They're firing kind of uphill, to be fair. But whether the Prussians really have a clear line of sight, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. They might be able to see what's going on. They're holding this tree line, which is obviously going to help them a little bit. But then, I mean, the Russians look like they have a bit of a tree line. That might give them some cover. The center for the Prussians here looks pretty thin when it comes to like infantry. They're actually looking, you know, yeah, pretty low on troops. Whether the Russians can make a spearhead here and try and split this army off from the village would be a little sneaky move there. It might require a lot of resources, and I guess maybe the Russians are still tentative. They do, you remember, have a lot of reserve infantry. These aren't regulars, so I guess they're maybe concerned maybe about just sending in pretty much conscripts just charging there. And actually, there's a lot of Prussian cav now out on the side here. Where's all this appeared from? Yeah, we've got 2 Hussars out here. Just keeping an eye and sniffing about. It looks like they could potentially help even up this fight if the Hussars can get in amongst the Russian infantry. They might be able to help rout off you, we'll see. Prussians don't want to get too close so they can entertain a Russian charge, that's for sure. It does seem like it's calmed down a little bit now. Just waiting to see if Russia's going to come forward. He is coming forward in the center. Bavarian gun's still here, but it's looking the wrong direction. It needs to turn around. The Russians are behind you, pal. And again, look at this. A little old tactic of the Aguerre. Moving to the flank. He's going to try and do the old sort of like cav and squareable combo against the cavalry of Prussia there. Where's the other one gone? Have they lost it? Surely not. Maybe there was 2 out here, or maybe it's just gone hidden, I guess. We might not be able to see with fog of war. More than likely that is the reason why. And it looks like Prussia's going to entertain this Russian, like, assault. If you want to call it that. They're going to move forward, try and assist the guns. The guns firing canister, firing uphill. Don't know if they can really see anything. They are firing quite literally over a hill. I think they're pretty safe. So yeah, the Prussians starting to get hit pretty hard by artillery here. Russians are also look like they're losing a few of these fights here. And as this fight goes on, it's getting prolonged and looks like it's going in favor of the. Looks like it might actually be going relatively in favor of the Prussians. Combat's losing slightly. The Prussians hold this line. I think they're okay. Just do a little bit of cabs. But the cab's been lost. You can see this is the main problem, is we're going to get flanked behind. There's not much we can do about it. There's a lifeguard hussar here that is not doing anything. He just needs to fall back, because otherwise he's going to get shot by these Jaeger. And I don't know how long it'll take for him to rout that unit there. That's for sure. And there you go. You can see the Prussians. I think they were winning, and they were quite happy to stand there. And I would have been quite happy to stand there, because I think this was me who I was playing as this Prussian corps. But the problem is that I'm getting flanked by 2 Jaeger units, and I have nothing I can send there. I mean, my combat gen maybe, I guess, but it's a risk sending him there. I don't think he can square. If he gets double teamed by Cossacks and infantry, I think I'm doomed. So I've got to try and get back. You can see him trying to dash now, trying to get behind the Prussian player almost. Try and get back towards the town. There's nowhere I can go. This small little force here kind of screwed me over. And it looks like, yeah, look at this. This is sad to see. Sad to see. I think it was kind of bad communication. We were looking elsewhere. But yeah, that lifeguard hussar getting killed off so easily, so quickly. Over on this side here, we are now seeing a bit of an offensive take place. Russians finally make an assault on this Prussian left. In go the hussars here. Look like they're going to give it a go, trying to rout the reserve infantry. The sappers here, like grenadiers, pretty much. They've been routed. The reserve infantry, they'll get them too. Can they get the next one? They're redlining these guys. There's so many more to come. Look at them. So many more. And they can't, yeah, so I think pathfinding screwed them there, but I looked at this without a lifeguard or something. They've got it, most of it out of there, still alive, and looks like the Prussians, yeah, they're going to push forward. There are Poles amongst these ranks here that, you know, decent in a melee charge. They will be the ones that you want to send in. Yeah, the Russians are now starting to sense blood. The center is looking vulnerable here for the Prussians. I mean, center is now is also the right flank, as I was getting forced back here by certain units. The left's looking okay. They're kind of pushing back on this side here of the Prussians. Looks like they might actually be able to outdo the Russians there. Fire when ready, boys! For Prussia! For the fatherland! Not for Napoleon, though. He's our nasty overlord. We don't really like him. I mean, York famously, like, he was the first general sort of not to defect, but sort of to abandon his position when the retreat for Moscow started, and he made a separate ceasefire with the Russians. So that was actually, it's kind of, I guess, of some historical importance as his core, or like I think he has like a division, technically. Gonna rout some more of these reserve infantry here, though. I bet these guys can't shoot to save their lives. Just a conscript given a like given a musket and told to go into battle. You see the line fight is going to form up here. You'll see where the Russians, they want to close the gap. I mean, this is going to be the perfect spot to go for is here, this little corner. The Russians will try and charge that, I think, if they're going to charge anything. It seems like they're kind of, I mean, they're routing a Prussian there. It just seems like they're kind of like managing to inflict a lot of damage onto these Russian reserve divisions themselves. The Cossacks are still in behind, got to keep an eye on them. They're charging somewhere. Don't know what it is. Not a clue. I wouldn't have a clue. I can hear charging going on, but I don't know what it is. Line fight. I mean, look at that. The Prussians flanking now. They're committing. Like, screw it. We'll just blast these guys inside. It's working. It's working in their favor. They've routed that unit. Can they get the gun? We'll have to see. The Prussians going to continue their advance. Oh, and here we go. The Russians have found a chink in the armor. And I think it's some Schutzen just getting routed there by overwhelming Russian forces. The Prussians have made an offensive into the forest over here. It has not worked. The Bavarians look like they're going to rout with the Poles. many Russians down with them as possible. Yeah, actually, they might. Well, I don't know. Maybe they are going to hold on. Looks like actually with that lifeguard hussar maybe in the back lines, or a hussar. I don't know if it's a lifeguard one. But they've actually managed to route that flank there of the Russians. That's a bit of a win, you know. Now it's going to free up a lot of Prussian troops here, but it looks like the Russians are steamrolling elsewhere. I think at this point, I might have. I think I desynced. I think because it's the Prussians, which is unfortunate. But my corps going to hold on. I mean, they're ideal if they're looking the right way. What are you doing, Poland? Turn around. There you go. Turn around, face up. Oh yeah, and then I mean things like that are not ideal. Not ideal for the old friendly fire. I mean, literally, what are you doing, guys? Turn around. And there you go. The Cossacks are going to swan on in. And they're going to take out... there you go. That's MacDonald, I think, dead. There's not much they can do. Not much they can do. It looks like the Russians are pretty much just going to descend onto this flank here. I mean, my infantry, even though I desynced, it doesn't seem like it's going to make much of a difference. My guys were holding a little bit, but I mean, it was just still just overwhelming Russians. I mean, look, there's another line to arrive just to replace the first lot if they got gunned down. But the Cossacks, honestly, I think are the MVP of this game. Honestly, I think they've caused a lot of problems. They've got to get routed here now. Decent volley there, but it's on the wrong unit. The Aguirre's going to come in here and side charge these guys. And that should rout that unit, I'd imagine. Or maybe not. Need to make sure not to blob. Yeah, I managed to get that one, and then routed that other. Yeah, and there you go. I think a mass rout is now taking place. I think. I don't know where York is, but if you're one of these units that's green lining right now, that's holding the line, he's not going to be happy for long because yeah, he's about to get encircled here by Russians. And that's the right and centre gone for the Prussians. It's now just the town on the left that's pretty much left. And the Russians will be making their way there. And they might have enough here, to be honest, to deal with these guys. We'll have to see. The Russians are re-rallying in a fair few places as well. But yeah, the Prussians are going to try and dig down. They're going to hold the 3-pointer. If they can last, I guess, 15 minutes, then then they win by LOC default, I guess, because they do hold the 3-pointer. No one's actually claimed their 4-pointer. It's just kind of obviously seen as sort of like, yeah, that they do just hold it. But yeah, it's not the case. Not the case. There you go. Yeah, they're just farming over there. Farming. The Russians are moving forward. I'm expecting a bayonet charge anytime soon. I mean, I'd probably target over here. I think that's my general getting killed off. Yeah, getting farmed a little bit. Yeah, I think I'd target here. It's a tiny little unit that you could probably target. The Poles could be a problem, but if you route the other unit, then I think the Poles obviously would probably route just because of friendly routing near them. I think they're going to wait for the overwhelming Russian horde over here. I mean, this is incredible. I don't know how expensive these like reservists are, but yeah, these troops from Steinheil are like insanely. There's so many of them. They're not. I bet they're not great. They are probably literally like conscripts, like provisional infantry. But it's just endless. This is like pretty much one army. Like the forces here were just one army. It's insane. Be interesting to have a look at the army sizes at the end. See the sizes for them. There's a Prussian unit that's forming up in the trees. Start blasting, boys. We'll make one last stand. Oh, there's more than one Prussian unit. There's a Pole also waiting in the trees there. They're going to make a stand. I mean, it's coming up a bit of a sloper of the Russians. If they're going to make this assault, good high ground that they're holding on to. And they're in the trees. Yes, just now it seems. I mean, Russia's re-rallied over here. I mean, the Prussians can't be too far away on the thought. They probably moved up from the left here, and then yeah. I mean, these will be some of the forces. There'll be other ones, and I think there's still a hussar that is sneaking about. We'll see. There's actually quite a few infantry in this. I mean, it's a good position to be honest to hold. Like I said, high ground and also in the trees. It's not a bad spot. And this, I don't think it's artillery. I think it's just Schutzen. really, really close, yet still hidden. The reserve infantry here having a bit of a trouble. Might have been off more than it can chew. It's definitely going to need support. But yeah, the Russians are arriving. Here we go. They're going in. I mean, these guys had a clear line. No one stopping them. They're going to start getting into melee. Poles can't get up a volley. Oh, I mean, they did there. I don't know if that's Fimin. Maybe. I mean, or it might have just been a bit of a delay sort of with the shot, but they did repulse that first volley. Going in here amongst, looks like a little Schutzen unit here. I mean, they'll rout that easily. Whether that will affect other units around them. The Poles have charged, actually, and got routed immediately. I think they might got the Russians got the revenge on them and volleyed into them as they charged in. Can't really see a lot of what's going on, but the Russians have charged in one unit there. That's it. They haven't actually really committed anywhere else in the charge. And we actually got Cav here shifting forward. Looks like it's maybe going to go, maybe try and flank, maybe go past this, yeah, around this house and then flank up. That's what I think it's going to try and do. And they're going to side charge here with Poles. They might be able to cause some upset here. Maybe pathfinding a problem there, or maybe they just changed their mind. I don't know. That looks like they changed their mind. Oh, that was Fim in there, though, from the Russians. That one. Definitely in melee there. And Fim those poor Poles. But they're still routing these Russians. They're holding strong of the Poles. Doing their bit. Respect it. And yeah, looks like they're going to hold back the Hussar for now. The Prussians are going to maybe think of a new plan. I mean, Prussia's down, but he's not out yet. He can inflict as many losses as he can. And all it takes is a terrible Russian charge. Maybe that's 4 units gone there to the loss of 1 Prussian. I mean, it shows the sort of the quality of the Russians compared to the Prussians. Looks like they're really stacking up on this left flank here. See all the reserved infantry moving to this sort of left flank here, stacking them up. I mean, also Prussia's going to be aware of these returning units back here that are going to be moving up and now threatening his rear. Vladimir Likarev leading the way. Also, some of the Prussians are starting to red line. They're starting to break. The sheer number of Russian muskets is maybe just a little too much. Some of these guys are orange lining for the Russians as well, so I mean, can't all be going bad. I mean, this definitely is an option here. I was going to say the Russians might have overcommitted, and I feel like the Prussians had a chance there with the Poles to maybe give it a go. They're red lining and orange lining, you can see there are the Russians. The Poles are going to keep chasing. They might just give it a go. They might give it a go here for a melee charge. We'll see. They can rout this. There's a chance of a bit of reprieve. Here we go. In go the Poles. Slap them up, boys. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Keep sort of bayoneting those guys. They do a good job. The Strelky might rout as well. And the Poles are going. I'm surprised. Maybe he just got shot in the back. I don't know. Cav over here. Looks like the last Hussar for the Prussians has been broken. Looks like the Cossacks have done their job. Might have been a little bit of fib in there by the Prussians, but they did in fact just blast those poor Cossacks, and it actually is not going to affect them at all by the looks of them. They're orange lining. Yeah, the Poles got repulsed. The Cossacks here, yeah, they're pinning down these Bavarians. The Russian infantry's moving up. This is surely the beginning of the end now. The Russians are definitely blobbing a little bit here, though. They need to be careful. In go the Jaeger. And the Russian infantry. Yeah, none of these guys got any volleys off on the Russians as they came in, really. And you can see it's pretty much over, I think, because we're just going to see the Prussians get massed out of there. The other Russian player now over here, now charging against what remains in the village, and that's another general that's fallen. Trying to hold that high ground there. Did their best, but just was not going to be enough in the end. And it looks like we're going to see a change of history. It looks like we're going to see the Russians win here at the at the Battle of Mesoten. Brave Westphalians fighting on for a cause it's not even theirs, but I guess they're fighting for their own lives. The general has just been killed. That actually was on this side as well, so that's all the generals I think for the Prussians dead. So it should just be just a few seconds. We'll see a mass trial take place. But yeah, it just took a long time. It was a long old fight. 7 minutes left. The Prussians have to hold on for. Maybe could have done it if those other armies hadn't died. But yeah, there you go. We should have a mass rout in a moment. Well, there you go. There's a mass rout, and now we should have the end results up on the screen for you guys to have a look at and enjoy. So yeah, this is from K1's perspective. He was playing as the Russians, but I was playing in this one as well. I didn't get many kills, unfortunately, in this one. Didn't really have a lot to do. I was out on his right flank just staring at, I think who was K1 for a long time, and then unfortunately, when I got more stuck into the fight, unfortunately did crash. But yeah, does sometimes just happen like that. But we'll have a quick look at some of the unit stats. 291 kills for Jaeger here, a Riga. Jaeger, another one getting 123 kills. So actually, yeah, I get incredible. The Cossacks 91, 86 with the guns. But yeah, shows the sort of standoff. The infantry not getting many great kills apart from a couple of lights and then the Cossacks. And the guns did a lot of the work for those Russians. But yeah, there are the rest of the kills if you want to have a look at those. Yeah, Steinhill there. With the big fat 0. But there you go. The Russians have changed history at the Battle of Mesoten. They are going to be able to relieve the siege of Riga. Maybe now Steinhill could send his forces to threaten Napoleon's Grand Armee as well. But yes, if you want to see more NTW3 historical battles, then do check out the ones on your screen now. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and all that shenanigans. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.